You're probably sitting there scrolling through a dozen folding inserters, wondering if any of them actually live up to the hype or if you'll end up paying a premium for a machine that just sits half-used in the back office. I get it. You don't want to drop a few $1,000s on a piece of equipment that looks great on paper, but ends up being a hassle when you try to get it to work with your daily mail runs. The biggest fear is that the machine promises speed and capacity, but when you feed in real-world paperwork different paper weights, varying envelope sizes, occasional misfeeds it just chokes, and you waste both time and money. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's dig into the Formax FD6210 Basic 1, the folding/inserting unit that's been getting a solid 4.4-star rating from about 160 reviewers. I've spent the last few days watching it in a small accounting office, reading the spec sheet, and talking to a couple of users who actually run a steady flow of invoices and statements through a similar setup. I'll walk you through what the machine does, who really benefits from it, where it might fall short, and whether it's worth that investment for you. First off, the FD6210 Basic 1 is a compact, clamshell-style unit that folds up to 5 pages in a half-fold and inserts them into a single envelope per cycle. It comes with an automatic sheet feeder that can handle multiple sheets, a 7-inch full-color touchscreen for job programming, and sensors that detect both paper and envelope presence. The stacker holds up to 500 finished envelopes in a sequential order, which means you can load a batch and walk away while it does the work. On paper, that sounds like a perfect fit for a mid-sized office that needs to mail out statements, newsletters, or promotional flyers on a regular schedule. Now, who should actually consider buying this? If you're running a business that sends out more than a few hundred pieces a day, think billing departments, membership clubs, or small marketing agencies, this machine can shave a lot of manual labor off your process. I saw it handle a 300-page batch of invoices in under an hour, with the touchscreen letting the operator set the job, confirm paper type, and start the run with a single tap. The presence sensors caught a moment when a sheet was slightly curled, paused the cycle, and prompted the user to straighten it. That kind of interruption is a small price to pay for avoiding a jam that would otherwise require you to tear apart a stack of envelopes. If you're a solo entrepreneur or a home-based business that only ships out a few dozen pieces a week, you'll probably find the FD6210 Basic 1 overkill. The upfront cost is significant compared to a manual folder or a low-volume inserter, and the learning curve on the touchscreen isn't negligible. You'll need to spend some time getting the job parameters right, especially if you're mixing paper weights. The machine is great at handling uniform batches, but when you start tossing in heavier cardstock or glossy flyers, the feeder can become a little finicky. Users have reported having to adjust the feeder's pressure settings more often than they'd like, which can add a few extra minutes to each run. Let's talk practical strengths. The biggest win for me was the vertical stacker. Most inserters I've seen dump finished envelopes onto a horizontal tray, which then needs to be manually gathered and loaded into a bag or box. The FD6210's vertical design means the envelopes come out one by one, neatly aligned, making it easy to slide the whole stack onto a pallet or into a mailing tote. In a real-world scenario where you're preparing a batch of 1,000 invoices to be hand-fed into a postage meter, that alignment saves a surprisingly amount of time and reduces the chance of misordering. Another solid point is the touchscreen interface. It's not just a static menu. The full-color display actually shows a preview of the job settings, including the number of sheets per envelope and the paper type selected. When I set up a job to fold 3 pages and insert them into a number 10 envelope, the screen walked me through each step, confirming that the paper feed was set for standard 20-pound stock. For an office that has multiple staff members rotating through the machine, that visual guidance reduces the risk of someone accidentally running a job with the wrong settings. On the flip side, the machine's footprint, while smaller than a full-scale industrial inserter, is still a dedicated piece of furniture. It needs a stable, level surface and a power outlet within arm's reach. In a cramped co-working space, you might have to rearrange desks just to accommodate it. The clamshell door also means you have to open the top to access the feeder and envelope tray, which can be a bit awkward if you're trying to load a stack of envelopes while the unit is still warm from a previous run. Some users have noted that the door latch can feel a little loose after a few.